Shalom, Akim, Wa Akwathium. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory to our mighty power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles / elder bishops of Great Millstone, and double salutations to the hopeful elect that's pushing His word, truth, and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth, man. I'm the brother Kassad, coming with another lesson to the spirit and power Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Tazat, that this lesson may be edifying. Here that I'm showing on the screen is us, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, captivities throughout history. And these are certain captivities. These are all the captivities that we went through by our oppressors, man. That the Lord put us in these captivities because we broke the commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. And these are the nations that had us in slavery. For example, Egypt, we were in Egypt for 400 years. The Cushites, which is modern day Ethiopians, the Babylonians, talking about ancient Babylon, had us in slavery. Moab had us in slavery for 18 years. Canaan, 20 years. The Midianites, 7 years. Ammon, 18 years. The Philistines, 40 years. The Assyrians, 70 years. Babylonians, 70 years. Median Persians, 203 years. The Greeks, 267 years. The Romans, 259 years. The Africans and the Arabs, which would be the Hamites and the Ishmaelites, they had us in slavery for about 1500 AD to 1600 AD. In America, present day, this is Babylon the Great, 1620 AD. And I'm going to go into the scriptures. I'm going to go to the book of Genesis, and I'm going to touch on these captivities. I'm not going to make this a super long lesson. Book of Genesis 15 and 13. This book of Genesis, chapter 15, verse 13. And he said unto Abram, and we know his name was changed from Abram to Abraham. And he said unto Abraham, know of a certainty that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And that's talking about Egypt, man. And a lot of people, they don't understand the scripture. They actually think that it's talking about America. It's not talking about America. It's talking about ancient Egypt. You know, when the Egyptians would take over us and enslave us, it was just talking about the Egyptian captivity, not America. Because people, they think it's talking about 1619 to present day now. No, it's talking about the Egyptian captivity, man. But, hey, the Egyptians, they had us in slavery, man, in captivity. Matter of fact, I'm going to get this. Matter of fact, I'm just going to jump into the next topic, the next captivity. The Cushites, Judges 3 and 3. Let me get that real quick. So Egyptians, they had us in slavery, too. Judges chapter 3, verse 3. Namely, 5 lords of the Philistines and all the Canaanites and the Sidonians and the Havites that dwelt in Mount Lebanon, from Mount Baal-Hermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of the Lord, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. That's right. And these nations, The Lord put these nations around us just to test Israel if we would follow his commandments or not. Verse 4, verse 5, and the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, the Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons to serve their gods. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forgot the Lord Yahweh shot their power, and served Balaam, and the groves. That's right. Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Cush. I'm just gonna say Cush. And he sold them into the hand of Cush, king of Mesopotamia, and the children of Israel served Cush 8 years. That's right. So the Lord sold us into the hand of the Canaanites, man, of Mesopotamia. So we were in slavery under the Canaanites for about 8 years, man. Moab. And touch on that also. I'm not gonna go through all of them. I'm just gonna touch on these different topics, and I'm just gonna get straight to the precepts on the judgment on these nations, and I'm going to close it out. Book of Judges. Verse 12. Book of Judges, chapter 3, verse 12. And the children of Israel did evil again in the sight of the Lord Yahweh Shai, and the Lord straightened Eglon, the king of Moab, against Israel, because they had done evil in the sight of the Lord Yahweh Shai. And he gathered unto him the children of Ammon and Amalek, and went and smote Israel, and possessed the city of palm trees. Verse 14. So the children of Israel served Eglon, the king of Moab, 18 years. So these Moabites, they're not exempt from judgment, because they had us in slavery too. Because the Moabites, they think they didn't do nothing to the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, but they did had a hand in our downfall. Not only they served, they put us in slavery in the book of Judges, they had us also in slavery, which is called the Silk Road slave trade. Matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Silk Road slave trade. The Slick Road wasn't a single route, but rather a vibrant trade network that crossed Central Eurasia for centuries, bringing far-flung cultures into contact. I'm trying to get to the point. See where I can find it. The term Silk Road, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Esau's just trying to hide his history, man. But furthermore, they had us in slavery in the Silk Road slave trade, man. What do you think? Who do you think built the Who do you think built the Great Wall of China? Those were Israelites who built that. Moabites, Moab can't do that. Only the Israelites can do that. We can build different architects, man. That was Israel who did that, man. Because Moab, they put Israel in captivity. So that Great Wall of China, that wasn't them who built that. That was the Israelites. That was our people, man. So Moab's not exempt from judgment, man. Midianites, they had us in slavery too. I'm gonna touch on the main ones. I'm just gonna jump down and see what I want to get. I'm not gonna go in order. I'm just gonna touch on certain ones here and there. Let's see what I want to get. Yeah, I'm gonna get this 2 Kings 15-29, the Syrian captivity. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 15, verse 29. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and took Ijon and Elbel, I can't pronounce that, and Chanoah, and Kadesh, and Hazar, and Galilee, and all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. So the Assyrians, they took the northern kingdom and put them in slavery. And Hosea, the son of Elah, made a conspiracy against Pekah, the son of Remaliah, and smote him and slew him, and reigned in his stead in the 20th year of Jotham, the son of Uzzah. And the rest of the acts of Pekah and all he did, behold, are not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. So the Assyrians, they had us in slavery too, man. So they're not exempt from judgment. But these are all the captivities, man. I'm going to get the main precepts. I'm going to get the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. That's right. So all these nations, man, they're going to go into slavery for putting us in slavery, man. They're not exempt from judgment. Because what goes around comes around, man, like they always say. Because these nations, man, they all had a part of our downfall. Matter of fact, let me see if I'm going to get that. Yep, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? That's right. So what nation had not gotten of the nation of Israel that took hold of us and put us in captivity? All these nations, man, had us in slavery. They all had a part of our downfall, man. They all touched the apple of the Lord's eye. And they're going to pay for that, man. And go to my next precept. Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He has the patience and the faith of the saints. That's right. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So these nations, hey, get ready for slavery, man. So y'all all going to answer for what y'all did to the Lord's people, man. Y'all all going to go into slavery. This is the book Obadiah chapter 1, verse 15. For the day of the Lord Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it should be done unto thee. That reward should return upon thy own head. That's right. For the day of the Lord Yahweh by small size is near upon all the heathen. So when the Lord returns, man, he's going to come and bring vengeance upon all these nations, man, for what they did to our people, man. The day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. Because these heathens, they're living it up, man. You got Elam living it up. All these Elamites all these Elamites that be in the gas stations in the inner cities where Jake dwell at, in the hood and stuff. Elam's having a blast making money off of Jake. You got Moab, he's making money off our people. In these nail salons and these damn Chinatowns, living it up here in Babylon, because they got all that profit from Esau. You got, what's the name? Ishmael. Ishmael's also in these gas stations, man. You got a lot of Ishmaelites making profit out of Jake, man. These nations, they living it up here in Babylon, man, because of Esau. Because Esau gave these nations a token, gave these nations some type of validation to go and oppress our people, man. And that's what they all had. That's what they took advantage of that too. And they're gonna lose miserably. They're gonna all perish. They're all gonna pay. That's gonna be my last precept. Let's see what I want to get. It's gonna be my last precept. This book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 8. For thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim of hosts, after the glory had he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, and these nations they all spoiled us. Every single one of these nations right here, from Egypt all the way to America, all 17 different heathen nations. For thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory had he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. That's right. For he that toucheth you touched the apple of the Lord's eye. And these nations, they touched the apple of the Lord's eye. Let me look up table of nations. See if I can find it. It's like a bear with me. Yeah, here it is. The table of nations, man. From white man, Edom, so-called white man, India, Elam, Assyria, Ashur, and you got Israel, the top nation, Yashar Allah, 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's us. I'm reading it again. Salakia. Zechariah chapter 2 and verse 8. For thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory had he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, and all these nations, they all spoiled us, man. From Edom all the way to Kittim, which is Cyrus. From the white man all the way to Cyrus, 17 different nations. Which spoiled for it. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Bashim of hosts, after the glory had he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that touched you touched the apple of his eye. And these nations, they all touched the apple of the Lord's eye, man. From white man, India, Assyria, Syria, it's like from white man, India, Assyria, Syria, Arabs, Chinese, Japanese, Ethiopians, Egyptians, North Africa, South Africans, Turkey, Russia, Greek, German, Spanish, and Cyrus. All these nations, they're all going to pay for what they did to our people, man. But I hope and pray that this lesson was edifying. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rakak, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and double salutations to the hopeful electors, pushing his word, truth, and sincerity. Shalom.